What's up guys, welcome back to another video. Yesterday we pretty much nailed the top at the time that I was recording the video. Ultimately we got that retest and off you go on Bitcoin. Now today I'm going to give you guys the update, and one thing's for sure, the conditions today are looking even better than yesterday, and of course yesterday was better than the day before. But overall that puts us at 65 wins out of the last 78 videos that we've made here on YouTube since February. And yeah, yesterday nailed it, still en route to the target, but yeah, let's try to maintain this 83% win rate. Anyways, just realizing now there are a couple of drawings that I should probably remove. And you know what, we're going to keep it here. That's definitely, oh yeah, adds a bit of spice to the chart, I guess. So starting things off on the daily chart, we closed bearish, and so the bias today is going to be towards the downside, either on the previous daily low or right there. That will be the target, and perhaps even 103 as discussed yesterday. Now on the weekly chart, just remember that you are still en route to this bullish fair value gap right here, which means that even if you were to retrace all the way back down to $100,000, wouldn't be a surprise. Now overall, the bias is down, especially once you go onto the 1 hourly chart. And when you go onto the 1 hourly chart, you'll see that we are now clearly in bearish order flow, since that this is your bearish order block, price breaks down, and then boom, that's another bearish order block, price breaks down, and boom, right? Currently, price went into that bearish order block and started breaking down again. Now this overall means that price is heading towards the downside, and until this changes, we are not going to counter trend, which means the setup for today is going to be super straightforward, in the sense that because the daily bias is towards the downside, we look for areas of interest on the 1 hourly chart to support our theory. And in this case, that's going to be this bearish order block right here, as well as this bearish fair value gap right here. So these are two potential areas that if price were to retrace into, you take the short, targeting 103,600. At least that will be the intraday target for today. Now going on to the 5-minute chart just to see how this is playing out. And today you start to see something like a potential ABC kind of setup, where you have your Asia accumulation, London breaks out and then retests before New York, and then boom. So that will be the setup for today. That will be the call for today. Now just keep in mind that there is always going to be a chance where I am wrong. So just keep in mind that today is probably one of those A+ days, in the sense that with a clear daily bias, we have a clear draw on liquidity, and also the 1 hourly order flow, everything is aligning in the sense that, you know, the 5 minutes pointing down, the 1 hour is pointing down, and the daily is pointing down as well. And this is, like, as discussed in the last 2 days, this is something that I specifically look for when it comes to trading my system, to make sure that there is time frame alignment. And on days like this, yeah, it's pretty no-brainer. There's not too much to talk about. The only bonus thing that I could potentially mention is that today the news will hit at 8:30 a.m. So just like yesterday, the most aggressive move actually happened, let's see here, right as, if you guys remember yesterday, we talked about how this move would happen around 7 a.m. And the only thing keeping me back from like just market entering at 6:30 a.m., which was the time when I recorded the video, was that it's not yet 7 a.m. Check it out, right? This is precision at its finest, and yeah, this is just proof. Hopefully my videos over the last couple of months has been enough proof for you guys that these movements in the markets don't happen randomly. There is a rhyme and reason to it, and hey, once you start seeing it, it's very hard to unsee it, and most days play out in one of two ways. AMD, ABC, today's looking like an ABC. So that is going to be like the area of retracement that you want to look for. Now, potentially, right? Well, that is the first scenario that I'm going to be looking at. It's not the only scenario, because while you may get this retracement, you could also just start breaking down from this point onwards. And if you break this level right here, and if you come back up to retrace it, right, just like yesterday, we called the entry at the change in state of delivery. So that's change in state of delivery, price breaks down, boom. That's the exact same setup that you want to look for on the 5-minute chart. So same thing here. If you start just breaking down from here, change in state of delivery, basically just trade the rest of the day towards the downside. Then there's a risk that maybe you might hit the previous daily low and start showing a bit of a reversal. Could be a potential. Right now I'm recording this video pretty early, according to my standards. Like usually I like to record this video closer to like 6 a.m. New York, just so that, you know, we are much more clear on what is the move. Right now, this is definitely an early video, hence why I'm talking about these other scenarios. It's always good to keep them in mind. Now, the final scenario is that you may retrade, like you may kind of like wick above this order block right here, as well as wick above this fair value gap to take out these relatively equal highs. I think this is a very unlikely scenario, but if this happens, this will mean that this is your manipulation happening during, you know, the New York morning potentially, and then distribution is going to be towards the downside. It's going to be pretty straightforward, but again, like this is just something that you keep in mind. Whatever the case, today is the day where you're short, not long, until you get a candle close on a 1 hourly chart above 105. This is not conditions to go long yet. This is very much still, you know, going towards the short side, targeting 103,600 as well as 103,000. So yeah, pretty short and sweet video today. But to those of you who watch until this point so far, you're definitely, you know, serious enough to watch a 5-minute video. But if you're interested in finally figuring out this whole trading game and to actually start being profitable in the next 60 days, you get to work with me one-on-one. I take on 3 people every month, and intakes for this month will be open sometime soon. If you're interested, click the first link in the description box below. But otherwise, if you want more analyses from the smart money perspective, something that is right about 80% of the time, then subscribe, hit the bell notification, because I'll be coming to you guys with daily videos on Bitcoin and potentially moving into altcoin soon. Anyways, cheers. See you in tomorrow's video. Bye-bye.